Hello, my name is Jeff Rolka. Thank you for checking out my video. Voice lessons for beginners. This is kind of like a quick hit 3 tips best practices. And I'm going to talk as little as I possibly can because tip number 1 is talk is cheap. You have to vocalize. The vocalizations are the way that we work with our voice to get better performance from our singing. There are a variety of vocalizations and they help us to do different things. But for starters, in the most comfortable area of your voice, mum, 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 just something like that. Mum, 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 mum. And you can even do it along with me here. Mum, 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 mum. You'll notice that the notes are very short. I'm not trying to sustain it. The reason why is because as a new vocalist, the efficiency of the closure of our vocal mechanism as it relates to our airflow is still working itself out. And by doing short notes, we allow our voices and airflow to find the best combination of vocal fold engagement and subglottic air pressure, or quote-unquote support. Those two things work together to give us a natural sound to our voice that is neither squeezed nor too airy. And the easiest way to get started with this is short syllables. Mum, 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 or we, or perhaps you, 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 you. Experiment with them. Find the one that works best for you. This allows you the opportunity to feel the physical sensations of your voice adducting or closing efficiently, and then you can use that vowel as a template to then work on the other vowels so that they perform similarly. Staying in a very comfortable range of your voice is very advantageous for this practice. The more that you stay in that comfortable area, the faster all the rest of your vowel alignment practices and ultimately registration event practices, in other words, singing high notes, will come for you. To that end, try to get a lip trill going. Lip trill, horse lips, I think there's a few other names for it as well that escape me at the time. It kind of almost doesn't really even matter what exercise you do to get started with, but you might do the same arpeggio to get things going. Now, I advocate for putting the thumb and middle finger in the corners of the mouth and giving a little lift inwards. This does a couple things for us. One, it takes a little bit of the weight of the lips off of the teeth, and this allows the jaw to release downward into a position that is more similar to singing vowels than if you did not use your hand and had to physically use the musculature around your face to press your lips together. So by doing this, we get a little bit closer to what it's really like to sing. And this is advantageous because when we eventually start just putting vowels in here instead of the lip trill, the transition will be a little easier. When you do the lip trill, sustain it. Notice what I am not doing. That is not particularly helpful. The voice responds best to consistency of airflow. The lip trill, one of the greatest aspects of it, is that it really lets us observe quite easily when we're keeping the airflow constant. You can tell very easily when I break the flow of air, right? And I broke it there near the end of that arpeggio. We want the airflow to be as consistent as possible. This gives us the best performance of our voices. Additionally, this really helps with vocal fold adduction, the closure again of the vocal fold. And it also helps us to make that transition from the short syllables, mum, mum, to more sustained singing, which is ultimately what singing songs is like, where we have sustained vowel sounds. Third and final tip here is to make it a practice. And I realize that that's a little bit more esoteric. It's not a concrete tip that I can play for you here on the piano. 5 to 10 minutes a day of these kinds of vocalizations are far more beneficial than if you do an hour on a Saturday or an hour on, a day that you have available in your schedule. 5 or 10 minutes is all it takes in addition to your regular singing to make significant progress with your voice. There is a sort of caveat with that it be focused 5 or 10 minutes. So maybe try to find a quiet place. Try and find a place that you can focus on your vocalizations. Try and put any distractions aside so that you can provide your full attention to that 10-minute practice that you are undertaking to work on your voice. There are many videos in my beginners playlist that are specifically done to help with the practices that I have shown you here, and in fact take you from the very, very beginning of these practices into some more intermediate practices and ultimately on into the warm-ups on my channel. The warm-ups on my channel are really vocalizations. Sure, they can help you get warmed up and get ready to go, but if you do the warm-ups, notice how I position the vowels. Notice how I put them in sequences. The reason I do that is to help you get the best performance from one vowel to the next, and ultimately move throughout the different ranges of your voice. They are done intentionally. They are, in fact, vocalizations. Vocalizations help you get better. Final bonus tip here. It is all connected. Rarely is it ever one thing that is tripping up us as singers in the performance of our pieces. There is almost always an interrelationship between airflow or vowel alignment or how much release we are cultivating in the aural cavity at the vocal fold mechanism. High note response is all of those aspects taken to the extreme where even the slightest amount of engagement that is not required can cause intonation problems or access problems to the upper register of our voices. And so what you will find in the warm-ups and the vocalizations is that these aspects are broken up into small little practices. And in doing those small little practices, we get to work on them and then we integrate them in the longer form exercises. I hope this helps. My name is Jeff. Please subscribe. If you haven't yet, I hope that you'll choose to do so now. And thank you if you already have. There are lots of ways you can support my channel. And if you like these lessons, you can get them as PDFs or even MP3s, if you like, over at Patreon. Your support is greatly appreciated. And lastly, it is always my custom to wish you the best and tell you to take really good care of your voices, enjoy singing, and hopefully we'll see you again. Bye.